Good afternoon or evening or whatever. So we have here 3 wireless Qi chargers. So I recently switched to the Pixel 2, and the big missing feature obviously was wireless charging. We will talk about the merits of that, but I wanted it anyway. So not so much so that I even bought a case, which I've never done, so I could hide this ugly Nillkin Qi charging wireless adapter. The problem is that I'm having a heck of a time finding an actual wireless charger that works and looks good. I was talking with a friend, and basically there are no chargers that both hit the right price point, look good, and fast charge to an acceptable level, like at all. Not across Amazon, not across the internet. There's a few things on Kickstarter, but those are 3 months out and then they're iffy. So I'm here to talk about what actually I found. So again, the big thing here is the receiver. So this is a Nillkin, and I'll throw a link in the description. This is a Nillkin Qi wireless charging receiver, and it's USB-C type. It plugs in to into the port at the bottom, and it's got a little sticky thing on the back so it can stick on there. It feels pretty thin when you get it, but when you try to put a case on, which I'll show you in a second, it actually does raise up the thickness and bow your case out, which I'm not a fan of. It's not a TPU, it's a Google Lab case, but nonetheless. But let's talk about the actual merits of the charging itself. So I've got up Ampere, which is a battery status app, and it's telling me my current discharge rate. Right now I'm at 0.4 amps, a little over 0.4, just from doing different stuff, and it'll vary as I make the gyro work or change the screen brightness, whatever it may be. When I put it on the charger, it's going to show me the charging rate in milliamps. I don't have the voltage monitor. Okay, so I have a voltage up to. It is at just under 4. So about as expected. Okay, so first up we have the Nillkin, and I'll put links for these two. It's just Nillkin's companion charger. It is a fast charger, as it says. Next up we have the RAVPower fast charger, which has been a favorite of BGR and then a few other people. And third up we have a non-fast charger by Vinsic, just kind of a new company out of, I'm going to assume, China, based on some stuff. Nillkin is also Asian. RAVPower, I have no idea. So let's just see how they charge first, and we can talk about the other stuff. So first up, so I have, where are we? Come on, buddy. Well, that's not a good sign. Doesn't look like it's charging at all. Okay, bad start. Make sure this outlet is live. Yeah, this one's charging. Huh. So this one, you will see a big blue light turn on when it's charging. So what I was planning on doing is giving you let it run for 1 minute. It reports the minimum and the maximum amperage for each. So we'll take this one over to a different outlet. It was working a different outlet. We'll do that last. So first up is the Vinsic non-fast charger. We're going to see what kind of milliamp outlet it's giving us. And we'll let it run, and we'll just do 30 seconds for time's sake. So it should pop up right about now. There we go. Okay. So started out at 400 milliamps. Not bad for a slow charger. So if you've done your research, you'll know that fast chargers usually have an output of up to 2 amps. With a 5-volt output, puts you at, just about 10 watts, so usually 9 to 10 range. I think the wall wart for the Pixel 2 is actually capable of going up to 17 or 18 watts. Or actually the wall wart is capable of going to 27, but the software limits it to 18. So 10 watts is not, nothing crazy. Should be able to handle it. But, as you'll see, we're nowhere near the 2 amps with the regular charger. And that's been around 30 seconds. So as you'll see, we have a minimum of 360 milliamps and a maximum of 450 milliamps. So pretty decent range, about 400 as an average. Seems to be sticking at 440. Okay, next up, we're gonna pull it off, let it readjust itself, re-tear, okay? And we have RAVPower. Let's see what it says. $320, a little bump. And here's the problem, is it never maxes out to much more than 400 milliamps. And so what I'm hoping, maybe I'm missing something, and somebody in the comments can let me know. But what I'm hoping is that this, the receiver has some limit that I don't know about. It said it has a 1, I thought it was a 2 amp output. Maybe it's a 1 amp input, but we're still not getting anything near that, obviously, over 400 milliamps. And it doesn't bounce much higher than that. Like if we're not going to get above 440, there's no reason for me to have this fast charger. All right, so we'll let it go for a few more seconds just to say that I did. And yeah, we're going to call it done on that. We got about the same output at 450 milliamps. And the last one over here, let's see if it wants to work now. This is the Nillkin. It's acting up on me. Let me make sure this thing is plugged in. Not working. Okay, let's take a look under the desk. Don't mind the mess. Oh, this is an important thing to note too. Oh, well, that'll do it. What is this? Yep, that'll do it all day. Classic. So the RAVPower one that I have, that was the $50 one on Amazon. It comes with its own high output wall wart, whereas the slow charger and the white Nillkin that I both have, you have to provide your own. Now, being that the Pixel 2 came with its own, this wasn't a big deal for me because I'm not going to use both the charger and the wireless charger, both a wired and wireless charger at the same time. I just, I only charge in one spot, so it doesn't really matter to me. And I have a bunch of, iPhone adapters laying around from forever ago. But just so you know, sheesh. Come on, man. Okay. Anyway, okay. But so you got to provide your own, and I had to use a USB-C to USB-A adapter because that's the new life we live now. Anyway, so now that this last one is plugged in, you'll see that blue ring, and it's measuring. Okay, started at 200. Don't mind that. That was just a starting speed, and it hits about 400. I've never seen it cap higher than 450. Yeah. And we can let it go like this for another minute or so, but it won't get any higher than 400 milliamps. And that's the life I'm living right now. Is no matter what I do, I can't get an output or an input, depending on what your scope is, of greater than about 450 milliamps, which is not fast charging. So obviously the problem is you can put it down, it'll charge overnight for the most part, but I had a long weekend. I put it down at, I think, like 4%. This was the night before last, and that was around midnight, maybe 12:30. And by the time I woke up, it was like 9:30. Got to sleep in for once. And I was at 94%, which means 90% and 9 hours, so 10% an hour. Obviously, 10% an hour is not great. Like, that's barely worth using this. Like, the get is that you don't have to fiddle with a charger every night. But at this point, like, I'll just bite the bullet and buy myself a dock and plug in every night. Like 10% an hour, that's nothing. So I'm not happy with the outputs. But let's talk about aesthetics in case your phone happens to come with wireless charging and you don't need an adapter, and that solves all your problems. So this Nillkin right here, it's not bad. They've got this fake full grain leather. I'm sure it's a vinyl of some sort. The branding is annoying. Like, I get it, it's Asian, it's not going to be Apple, but they tried. It's just take off the fast charge. I would pull off the logo too, but I'm sure they're trying to get their name out there, so they're going to keep it on. It seems to be not raised lettering, but it's like a paint, so you could scrape it off. I'm going to end up returning this. I'll tell you why in a second, but I would just scrape it off. It's got rubber feet. It's a pretty good, like it's a above average aesthetic compared to the Field. This guy's ugly. This RAVPower, it definitely looks worse in pictures, or worse in person than it does in pictures. They did a good job of making it look kind of like, you know, it was supposed to be a premium device, but you pick it up, it's just kind of this round hockey puck of a thing. Like, the materials are nice, they don't have an eye for proportion. Also, that branding, gotta go, man. Come on, guys. I know it's fast charge, I bought it. You don't need to put it on there. Vinsic has done the best job, in my opinion. Now, ironically enough, it's actually plastic. The whole thing is plastic. And it doesn't bother me. You know, it's got a rubber mat, which does its job. It holds still. It actually even has a little foot on the back, so I mean, it'll hold the phone, you know. It's not gonna fall off. The rubber mat does its job. I just unplugged this one, so it's not gonna say it's charging, but of the three of them, I actually think the cheapest looking, or the cheapest material one wins. Unfortunately for me, it's not a fast charger. So it's out, but you know, apparently it doesn't really matter because they're all charging slowly. So the last reason that I'm actually returning this one, and then probably this one, is the charging indication light. So as you probably saw when I put this on here, this light turns blue and the ring is around the entire device. Now, if you like to sleep, I would say when it's dark, but if you like to sleep at all, you don't want a blue LED lighting up your nightstand. And it's at night. I mean, let me kill all these lights. Got a bunch of lights in this room. We'll show you for comparison's sake. Kill light 1, 2, and 3. Like, this thing is noticeable. It looks purple on camera, but yeah, it looks purple on camera. It's very, very blue in real life. Yeah, my iPhone's whitewashing. Get these lights back on. Now that I can't see. This guy right here, the charging indicator is rather discreet, which I greatly appreciate. Thank you, RAVPower. Just a single orange LED, which could easily be covered up by some electrical tape, which is how I've been using my crap. Where are we, light? Oh, yeah, there we go. Which is how I've been using the Vinsic. So I actually use, I mean, until I bought this one just to see if a faster charger could solve all my problems, I was using this one, the Vinsic, as my go-to because I could cover up this tiny little indicator light with electrical tape. Actually, this little piece right here. It's, you know, takes very, very little to do it. Now, it's still, because it's plastic and kind of cheaply made, the light leaks out between the seams of the white and black plastic, so you can still see like light coming, you know, out of there just a little bit. I should probably just show you. Bear with me. Okay, sorry about that. Let me just turn off this light one more time and hopefully remember where the switch is. Okay, so you'll see this one is blue until you put the phone on, in which case it will turn green. And the problem with both of the chargers I had before, which was the Nillkin and the Vinsic, is that those charging indicators are persistent. So once you place them on, once it determines that it's charging, it's not just going to turn the light off after, like, you know, 30 seconds of it recognizing that it's constantly charging. It just stays on until it's charged, and then it continues to stay on even when it's charged. So work on your indications, guys. People got to sleep. So that's the gist of it. These 3 chargers are all decent options, but none of them fits the needs that I am willing to pay for. So I'm gonna keep looking. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if I'm not gonna get the full charging rate, I'll just buy an Nillkin charger. So let me know if this is helpful at all, if you have any suggestions. Sorry, this is way longer than I wanted it to be, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, bye. Sorry, I almost forgot. I told you I would show you the case. So I got a Google Live case, shout out to New Orleans, and it snaps in, like, the case on its own is pretty nice. I will tell you, the first thing I missed is the external, like the extended power and volume rockers. This is a pain in the butt to get to. Like, you got to work your fingers to get it in there. I wish it just gave you buttons. It's not TPU, it's a hard case. I don't mind that. The big problem I'm having with it is this, with that charging receiver in there, it leaves, I don't have my calipers on me, but I'm going to say there's probably about 1.5 millimeters gap between the fingerprint sensor and the back of the case, which means not only does it not sit flat, which isn't that big a deal, it means when you try to actually do fingerprint gestures, because that's kind of one of the cool features of Pixel, when you try to swipe down, well, I know it's hard to see, but I'm doing it like I would normally do it, and it seems to register like, well, now it's on camera where you can see I'm like going forward and back, and it's like kind of registering. You gotta really get it there correctly. If you do it normally, it's a pretty smooth operation. You don't think about it. Sometimes you'll hit it accidentally. But yeah, here's one of the customized gesture I put up to turn on vibrate or not by swiping it left and right. And it seems to work pretty well. It's that down and up one that really gets you. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that. The case overall looks, feels in hand pretty smooth, works well. It's just that dang bow. Yeah, there's another shot of it. So I would suggest, if you're planning on going the wireless receiver route, buy something TPU, because it's not really worth it, especially for $40. Come on, Google. Anyway, bye.